971. Call the office at 572-0383 or 572-0215. REV-UP St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Hi, this is Lotus. Join me every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on REV-UP St. Lucia for Unrestricted. What we don't talk about, what we should talk about, and what we will be talking about. Don't forget to join me every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on REV-UP St. Lucia for Unrestricted.
It's now time for Unrestricted, hosted by Lotus. Lotus, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Andre. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to Facebook, X, YouTube, online radio, everyone. Good morning.
Yes, across St.
Welcome
Lucia.
back. Yes, across St. Lucia and the diaspora and the world, Andre, because there are people listening far and wide. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Unrestricted, and we have a serious topic this morning. I don't know how well. I think it's serious. Something that, people don't want to talk about, but it's there as usual. Unrestricted always comes up with some of the things that we don't want to talk about. This morning we're going to talk about adult children leaving the nest. Adult children leaving the nest, Andre. and it's not just them leaving the nest. I want to talk about how parents facilitate their lack of independence. We spoil
You mean the
them.
children, you mean? Yeah.
We spoil them. We do not want them to feel uncomfortable, and we don't realize that we hold them back from the evolution of adulthood, right? And I know a lot of us do that.
Yes.
A lot of parents, back in the day, we were better prepared to go out into the world because our parents didn't give us the choice. A lot of us. That's not to say some of us did not live with our parents, but some of us, our parents didn't give us a choice. By the time we were 18, they looked at us as a sort of way. They started putting off the light or doing certain things. We started becoming uncomfortable. And more so, some of them told us directly, you will have to go and find your space.
Some would lock the door early.
Thank you. And these were signs.
And let me tell you, you can make noise, You're not entering that house.
That's right. and the thing
I'm
about
laughing
it is
at that, but that's not a joke.
No, it's not a joke. And the thing about it is that some of us felt they were being mean or they were being cruel.
I think they were.
Now, not to say that some of them weren't, Andre, but I believe that at the end of the day, when you really look at how you are now so resilient, you can take care of yourself. You're almost like a soldier. And even a lot of us as females, we had to end up, going early and doing things. And there's a myriad of reasons why some of us did not stay, to live a little longer at our parents' houses.
I still.
But you stayed.
I still. Yeah. In fact,
but there was a mutual benefit, no?
Yeah,
Did you not work?
Of course, definitely.
You see what I'm saying? And did you give and contribute to the house?
100%.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So before.
But the thing that you're saying is that apparently by keeping the children home, you're kind of like shielding them.
Yes, so it's really bad now, Andre, because before, which is what I just said, not everybody do it to the detriment of the child. If it's mutually beneficial, then it's something that you're giving the child to do. The child is independent, and the child, the adult child continues to grow and be independent and sort of saves for his or her own future if it's mutually beneficial, meaning that they hold you, the parents hold you to that responsibility. You couldn't come with an excuse and say, well, this month I only made $200, I cannot pay the light bill. When you set your boundaries, children, they have to follow it or they have to do otherwise. And many times we don't even tell them that if you go on your own, you would have to spend so much more than if you're in my house, so you must contribute. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us, what we do now, I think what has happened is a lot of us who have grown up without certain things, or we have grown up at a disadvantage in our minds, or we had to struggle early. What we are finding now, and what the research is showing, is that many parents leave their children to grow up in the house. They are adults in the house. They go over to school. They come back. They eat all your money, and they have no responsibility. They take no responsibility, and it is to their detriment in the long run. Because some of them, one of my friends was saying to me, she was very angry with her mother when she went off to school and realized she couldn't cook. She realized that she couldn't cook because her mother sheltered her, mother cooked for her, mother cleaned, the mother did everything, her mother gave her everything. And when she was getting ready to go over to university, her mother never prepared her for the shock of being alone, right? So when she got to university, she was forced, because obviously you're not going to sit there and die. So you either have to, what some of them do is waste so much money on buying food outside, or when they realize their money is finishing, because you have a set amount of money when you go to university. If you're not working, you get your money for school and you get your money for incidentals and everything else. So you cannot just sit there and not eat anything. So some of them have to learn to cook. And the resentment was against her mom. She was like, why didn't you prepare me, or why didn't you let me help you to cook, or teach me something? And a lot of us do that.
You're right, Lotus. In my case, you're right. My grandmother, asisla, ngaimene bau, kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay, and I liked it, to be honest with you.
Of course, and that's what we'll see. Yes.
However, when I went to the US, okay, I had to learn to cook.
You must.
But to be honest with you, I was not angry at her or anything like that. I just figure time for me to do what I have to do.
To do what you have to do. But some other children, they are resentful because they figure, but why another person know how and my mother didn't teach me? And like you said, and I think the parents before, our mothers and our fathers, they taught us to do things even before we left. Because I remember when I used to wash, I'll never forget that. That was a memory I didn't like. When my mother used to give me the basin of clothes to wash, and every time I wash something, she make a wrong and she put it back in the water.
Are you serious?
Yes, because it wasn't clean. Because it wasn't clean. She would say, she would take it up, examine it, and say, "This is not pap. You need to wash the underarm. You need to." But that.
Oh, you're doing shortcut.
Yes, and I was very angry about that. But when I look back, now I see myself as being able to hand wash, being able to clean. You know what I'm saying? And do it properly, because she taught us.
Well, I tell you something, Lotus. I think a lot of people may not call, but a lot of parents,
because
especially,
are
going to be listening very, very closely, because I think it's true. It's true. There are lots of parents who have children at home. The children are not what they call self-sufficient.
And they're not
maybe
helping.
We as the parent have not done what we're supposed to do to help them to become
and that's
self-sufficient.
What I'm saying,
so I hope you have some good news.
For us to go
some good news.
The discussion is hopefully, it's, and they're going to see it as well. And the thing about it is that Unrestricted is always about learning, and I am learning as well, because don't forget I have two young adults.
Yes.
So we learn together. Maybe some things I do, some things you don't do, that kind of thing. So you can see how it is actually a disadvantage, or you're doing your children a disservice by not teaching them or giving them the opportunity to be independent.
Yes, raising them to be self-sufficient.
Yes. From empowering parents, these two social workers and family therapists, I looked at an article they had, and one of the things they were saying was many young adults are struggling to become independent in today's generation. Maybe the economy isn't perfect, but that's nothing new. We've gone through recessions and depressions in the past, and families used to have leftovers. Everybody would come together, they would do things to help each other, and they used to wait until the weekend to talk on the phone, meaning that we didn't have that long distance, we didn't have the rates and everything, so everybody used to plan certain things. So sometimes there wasn't a yearly vacation, and kids brown bagged instead of buying hot lunches. So we packed our lunches, we cooked our food. These are the things that happened in the past. There's nothing wrong with a family pulling together to make it in today's world. What's different about the young adults in today's generation seems to be their sense of entitlement and their aversion to making sacrifices. Gone are the days, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. So what this is saying is that we give our children a sense of entitlement, and I have seen it.
Explain that. Self-entitlement.
They feel entitled to your things. You are their mother, you are their father. They feel like you must give them things until they die. And they don't understand that when they turn 18, they become an adult in most societies, right? When you turn 18, you're supposed to go out and, do things. But again, as parents, the way we raise them, they become so entitled because we continue to give them, we continue to do for them, and we continue to keep them in a comfortable state. And we feel as if we don't do it, they will be uncomfortable. And we don't want our children to be uncomfortable. I think a lot of times as parents, we want to give them what we didn't have. And we inadvertently, we don't realize we're really setting ourselves up and setting them up. So we continue to do the things that we think that, it's good. We cook for them, we clean for them, we pick them up, and we continue the same cycle even after they have gone into adulthood.
In other words, we clean up after them.
We clean up after them, Andre. And what that does, it gives them a sense of entitlement, because the day you tell them you cannot, or the day you do not want to do it, they wonder why. Why you don't want to do that? Or why I have to do that? But you can pick me up, but you have a car. You see? So the entitlement is that they think that what you have is theirs. So they don't see themselves as a separate adult.
And what they have is theirs.
Oh yes, Andre. Oh yes. Let's talk about that, Andre. And that's the thing with parents that you don't realize. The children build their lives for themselves. Sometimes you are not even considered. You are not.
But you can tell from the actions. You can tell from the actions.
That's right. You are not even considered. And I think it's because, again, the way we raise them, the way we bred them, the way we do things, we teach them to be inconsiderate, really, because they're so selfish. We do so many things for them. They feel that they are kings and queens and princesses and princes that's supposed to get everything, but never do for somebody else. So they grow up with that selfish attitude, that selfishness, where they don't even consider you. And most of us as parents are very hurt. Why are you hurt when you have created the monster? You know what I mean? But we are hurt because we are human.
But I suppose maybe the exceptions to the rule. I say that because I just told you how my grandmother spoiled me in terms of the cooking and the washing and those kinds of things. To be honest with you, right? As I said, when I went to the US, I had to do everything for myself, right? But nonetheless, I wanted to do for her. I couldn't wait. I could not wait. The minute I got my first check, I just came directly to her and said, Mama, look.
And what do you think caused that? Do you think,
that's what I'm saying, there's the exceptions to the rule.
But do you think she had anything to do with the way she raised you? Even though she would do for you, maybe she instilled in you certain things that gave you an opportunity.
Okay, so let's talk a little about that. What I know for sure is that lady, was not our biological mother. She was my grandmother. And I saw the way she sacrificed so much.
So you made the connection.
Yes, for us, meaning, my siblings, myself, and so on. I saw the things that she would deny herself. And so there are times I remember she would say, for example, she goes to a wedding and we can't go, a wedding party, and we can't go. And she would come home with a little container with all kinds of goodies, right, from the wedding, right, from the wedding party. And when we would go now to a party, a wedding, we're bringing anything home. And she say, wait.
Yes.
So she see Mamaila.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's a very good example.
You understand?
That's a very good example.
But as I'm saying, just nonetheless, I just knew that this lady be all sacrifices. And I kept saying as a young man, boy, I cannot wait for me now to make up for that, to show how much I really appreciate it. So that's what I'm saying, there's some exceptions to the rule.
Well, quite a bit of adult children, bless their heart, some of them are really considerate and others are not.
No, and that's a fact.
No consideration for the parents. And the parents are so hurt because the parents, like you say, have sacrificed, have given over and over. And I think sometimes the default response is, I didn't send to call you, or you brought me here. You know that kind of thing. A lot of children believe that. Well, I didn't bring myself here. You were the one who brought me here. But you are over the age that I'm supposed to care for you. And I think a lot of us do not give them the opportunity to go and care for themselves, no matter what it is.
But let me ask you something, Lotus. What about the children, right, who are genuinely trying? They're not lazy, right? And of course, they have certain talents and abilities, and they go out there into the world, and they are working. They're doing things. You could see they're really trying. Right. But because of the realities of life, you still feel some kind of obligation,
of course, Andre,
to put your hand underneath their butt and to hold them.
Especially if you have, or you can do it. Yes, you do it. But at the same time, you have to do it in a way where they know that they are on the road to independence.
Self-sufficiency.
But you can help. There's nothing wrong with helping, Andre. I think as parents, again, some of our parents, like I said before, could not help us. So we had to leave. We had to leave the nest. We had to go and work. We had to, make our way because our parents could not do it anymore. But some of us now in today's society, many of us have gone to university. Many of us have had good jobs. Many of us make good money. The kind of money some of us make, our parents could only dream of making that kind of money. So if we can do it for our children in certain things or certain ways, of course we can.
Yes.
But like you say, there are children that are ungrateful, they are lazy, they feel entitled, and they feel that you are obligated to take care of them.
So hopefully, Lotus, you'll help us identify the reasons for exactly that scenario you're painting there. Because I think maybe a lot of parents are saying, where did I go wrong?
Where did I go wrong? Exactly. And you sit and you reflect and you say, oh my goodness, I should know. Oh, and some of us are really great parents, but in that aspect, we probably are failing.
Yes.
Because, as parents, sometimes we do some things really well, and in other areas, we do really bad.
Well said.
So it's not like we are totally bad parents, Anyway, Andrew, give the numbers so that I can go into the issues that...
Yes.
Yeah.
The fixed line is 572-9710, 572-9710. Again, fixed line 572-9710, or the WhatsApp platform, it is 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. Again, WhatsApp 287-0971. So call us whenever you're ready.
Okay. So in today's society, it's all about technology and instant gratification. But it's not too late to teach your adult children the values of delayed gratification and working for things they desire. It's okay for them to be uncomfortable and realize they have the ability to survive hard times through self-reliance. So if your guilt or fear buttons start reacting, remember, we give our kids these lessons out of love. So let's look at I want us to go and look at the several important issues that come up when dealing with an adult child, right? So we're going to discuss some of the issues. Number one, some adult children really verbally abuse and disrespect their parents. And you're living in your parents' house.
Yes.
That's an issue that a lot of parents actually have to deal with. That because they are your children, they figure they can speak to you how they want. And at the end of the day, too, they are adults, so they feel they can tell you what they want. Some children even abuse their parents verbally, physically. Some of them want to fight with their parents in their house. Andre,
That's true.
I God forbid, I have never experienced that in my life because I suspect. But you'll take them out. No, we don't put up. We don't put up with some of the things. And again, the way I raised my children and the way I was raised, that's something that's a no. But some children, they were raised in such a way, or they probably feel, I don't know how they get to that place, but they feel they can abuse their parents.
And I repeat,
verbally.
Lotus, I hope you're going to show some of our parents where we went wrong.
Well, I don't know if I can show you where we went wrong, but I can tell you how to start getting out of that, right? So that's some of the issues. We're going to look at some of the issues they deal with, and one of it is verbal abuse and disrespect. The other one is adult kids who blame their parents. So your child will blame and intimidate you because it's easier at that moment than getting a job and working. That's easier than learning how to live with a roommate because you can't afford your own apartment and a car at the same time.
Sorry to disturb you. You have a call?
I have a call? That's fantastic.
Okay.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Unrestricted.
Hello, good morning to Lotus and to Andre.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Rest
Good morning.
of the Rebel family listening.
Thank you.
Pretty good.
Mhm.
Yes, very, very nice topic.
Thank you.
And boy, there are so many, I guess, angles to look at this.
Mhm.
But I would want to say probably this phenomenon we're experiencing now, I think would come out of, I think, what they call the trend of the 80s or the baby boomers.
Mhm.
Because before that, like you all said, our parents struggled and they sacrificed a lot. And what happened is that some people came out of that and they say, I don't want my children to suffer the way I did.
Mhm.
And then that started out that whole system where parents were trying to give their children everything that they need without doing the work. So I think that's where that little situation stemmed out from, and then it's perpetuating. So it's a very good topic that you have brought up, and to hopefully see how we can probably put a stop or at least just slow it down a bit.
Yes.
Or turn things around.
To teach our children, that they have to be, because at the end of the day, we will never be there all the time for our children. They have to face that life, and life is going to be a rude awakening for some children because they're just not accustomed to doing anything for themselves because they were just so protected.
That's right.
So that is definitely something we need to look at as parents and young adults. Are we really training our children to be self-sufficient, to be able to face the reality out there? Because the home life and life is completely opposite.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you said, for Andre, in your example, when you went to university, you now have to face the reality of cooking. So it was a part of a thing of necessity as opposed to you being prepared for it. So right now we need to try to prepare our children for the world out there as opposed to just letting the world, try to bubble them up.
Yes.
There was something you mentioned, Andre, about the doors being locked. And you couldn't get in. But I am wondering whether that was trying to force children to grow up as opposed to saying "Tate kai mwen, ou kai viva balwa mwen." I think most of the time it was that situation whereby people tell you, well, you're still living at my home, you're going to follow my rules, as opposed to giving you that independence, for you to be able, you're a young adult. I'm not talking about a teenager, 14 years, 14 years coming back anytime. You have to set the rules still then. But even when some people are like 18 years, you still have the parents treating them like babies, So I just wanted to talk about that side of the coin insofar as the example you brought up.
Okay.
So very, very good topic. Like I said, I hope there are people listening that can probably get a little something out of it.
Yes.
So the way we raise our children has has the biggest part, how the children were raised. And if you look at those children who were brought up in a good household, especially those who had some church going, and some precepts of God, you would find that these are the ones who probably went on to do better as opposed to those who had no guidance whatsoever. So great topic. So I'll continue to listen.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
calling.
much.
All right, let me just get the numbers again. The fixed line is 572-9710, 572-9710, or WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971, and this is Unrestricted with Lotus. Yes, Lotus.
That's right. So one of the second issue we were talking about was kids who blame their parents. And one thing we know about human beings is that they will, by their nature, take the easy way out. In this case, the easy way out is being oppressive to your parents so that you don't feel any stress. So a lot of them, they want to just stay, and it's easy for them to sit, and I think that parents also have to take some responsibility for this behavior. In particular, I think that too many parents do everything they can to ensure that their kids don't feel discomfort because they believe that discomfort is a bad thing. In many cases, they let things slide that they know are wrong. They make excuses for their kids, and what they end up with is a kid who is not prepared to deal with the injustice, stress, and discomfort of life. And that's what the caller was also alluding to, is that when we have to think of the fact that we are not always going to be there. And if we love our kids so much, we have to prepare them for outside. I was reading an article a little while back, and it was about this celebrity. I don't know, some people know him, Pharrell. He's a music producer, and he said he gives his kids no free passes. And I thought that was so. He's raising them to be responsible. They cannot just get stuff, not because he's a rich man. They cannot just get stuff.
I've heard a few rich people say that
he holds them
the
accountable.
children have to hustle for themselves and this kind of thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
And sometimes we sit there and we say, well, we don't think so. But Andre, it's not that you're putting them. I'm not saying you have to put them on the plantation to pick cotton and beat them. I don't think that's what it is. I think you have to give them responsibility and you have to let them be consistent.
Get back to that in a second. We have a call.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Andre. Good morning, Lotus.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay, fine, thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks
Yes.
for accepting my call.
You're welcome.
Yeah. This is the first time I'm calling the program for this year. So, Lotus, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. Okay, very, very nice. Very nice program. Yeah. As a child growing up with my mother, mostly my mother, the only thing she didn't teach me and the other siblings was to cook. That's the only thing. Because we were living in a little wooden house, and she was always afraid that if we cook, we light the coal pot, it might catch the place afire. Yeah, that's the only thing. But to wash and clean that she taught us that very well. And up to now, despite of my challenges, I still have that in me, how to clean, to wash, and those things. But coming to my children, I had two girls with my madam. I always expect them to leave my house. It's not that I'm chasing them, I expect them to go. Yeah, you understand? I'm expecting, like, I'm not telling them you'll have to go, you'll have to do this, but I make them feel that when they reach a certain age, when they're about to be in the late teens, and when they start, almost having a boyfriend, you will have to make your way. Yeah. And by not telling them that, I telling them that I showing them that by not telling them that.
So what if they don't have a boyfriend? Well, sorry, the girl doesn't have a boyfriend. What happens now? She can stay home?
All the rest of her life. Yeah.
So the boyfriend is the indicator.
Andre, but the moment both girls and boys, you see, the moment they start showing me or telling me they have their little boyfriend, I'll talk to them and tell them, look, okay, you have your boyfriend, you have your girlfriend. I'll tell you what I say here. You have to be responsible, and you have to tell them certain things. Andre, if she doesn't have, that's okay. She stay there, the boy stay there. But the moment, because Andre, I cannot be there in the house with my girlfriend or my wife, and I see my daughter bringing her boyfriend in the house. I sit in the sitting room, and the man passing, opening the bedroom door, going. I just stand, because Andre, I've never done it, and I wasn't expecting that from my children. But
what do you mean, like, if the boyfriend wants to live in your house, that's what you're talking about?
Not to live in,
or just coming in the house, just coming Andre, to visit and going in the room with her.
Right? Yeah, okay. Andre. Yeah. It never happened. It never happened to me when I was okay up there. Like, I'm in the sitting room, the boyfriend passing, going in the bedroom, and because my daughter has her own room, you can just pass and open the door, go in the bedroom and visit her, even if she's sick. Now, if you want to see my daughter and she's in the room, you call her and come in the sitting room or go in the balcony, not in the room. Yeah.
I'm with you on that one, to be honest with you.
These are the discipline, Andre. I put Andre and my last daughter, I always saying to her, baby, the man who move you, who take you away from my house, is the man I want to marry you. And she said, so then. So these are things I taught my children, Andre, and the girls, they haven't disappointed me. Yeah. And especially the mother taught them to cook. And I used to tell them, look, look, you see those two girls? I want them to have meat on the bone so that a man can see them, a man can fall in love with them. Understand? And so said, so done. Yeah, Andre, I treat my two girls, Andre. I make sure I feed them, I take care of them when they open the marriage, Andre. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Andre, and so said, so done, and I sure the mother, she's there listening. Yeah, she's up there. Yeah, I don't say she's up there. Yeah. Andre, yeah, I taught my children that. Yeah, I want her to look good, look nice, look not mega anything. Yeah. Put meat on your bone so a man can fall in love with y'all. Y'all are nice girls. Yeah. And I work hard, and I feed them. I can tell you, the mother taught them to cook, taught them to wash, and they're okay on their own, and yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. Always interesting. Interesting.
Yes. For accepting my call.
You're welcome. Yes. Lotus, you have another call.
Oh, I have another call.
Yes. This is Unrestricted.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Unrestricted.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
I love that topic because, I love children. I am a parent, and I was also a teacher of young children. And I believe sometimes children, for me, I see there is good in every child once he's born, but it's we that have to throw it out. Sometimes as a parent, the children live what they see. Sometimes we say, where did I go wrong? What did I do? I was able to give my child everything he wants, give her everything. But sometimes we do all that. But then we look down at other people's children. We call it, my child will never be like this one, this child. And we say all kinds of things. But quietly, our children sometimes are listening to us and how we put down other people's children. We put down other young people. We put down sometimes even their friends. Sometimes we don't even know them yet, but we already judge them and all sorts of things. And we don't look at all of those things. Sometimes it's the things we say and do sometimes come back to haunt us. Because sometimes the same thing you say about a child, somebody said, look down, it comes right back to you. Now sometimes you will do everything and your child will go that same wrong way. Now sometimes we cannot blame ourselves as parents because we may do everything we can for our child. But our child has his own mindset, his or her mindset or attitude. And regardless of what you do. So you cannot blame yourself when you have done everything you can for your son or daughter. And they have gone, you may wonder, but you also have to say that he or she has their own mindset. And they just did not accept anything that you try to instill in them. So it goes both ways, I would say, that sometimes we are the ones to blame and sometimes our other children to blame. But another thing, as soon as you are of age and you are in the house, I think boundaries should be laid in the house because some people have grown men and women, 35, still in the house, and they do what they want. They abuse their parents. If they have their partners, they bring their partners in the house with no kind of respect for them. That happens as a parent. I mean, sometimes, I don't know, some parents fear their own children, so they allow them to do what they want. But at the end of the day, I think as a parent, you should know when to lay down your boundaries. You should know when to hold and when to let go. Because at the end of the day, there's just that much you can do. But as I say, as a parent, there are certain things, once you reach of age, I would accept, and I think parents, when your child reaches a certain age, there are certain things you just should not accept of them. But, again, as I say, we should always watch what we say of others, because sometimes it comes right back to bite us in the butt. The behavior and attitude our children display. Because as I say, they watch and they listen. Sometimes they say, okay, that's what you thought. Okay, it's going to be right here in your face. So as I say, it's a topic I really like. I love children because I watch. I imagine working with young children, Andre. I sit in my class and work with the children, and you would see them watching you. and a light in your the little eyes. When you maybe your eyes catch the eye, they turn, but they as young as they are, they would watch to see which teacher I can get away with, which teacher I can do what this that's why I say children are just very, very, we have to be very, very careful because they grow up, because they, as young as they are, they just have this mind and attitude and intelligence that sometimes we don't even believe that they have. So we should be very, very, very careful what we do, our actions, just in general, just be cautious.
Okay.
How we live our life around our children and be the example that they would follow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty.
And Miss Lotus?
Yes?
Every time I hear your voice, you sound like somebody. Did you have 2 children going to Montessori?
Oh my God, you're putting out my business. Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I did.
A boy and a girl?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yes, I said yes.
Yeah, I think every time I hear a voice, I remember this. I remember
you think you know them?
Gave me a ride from the school to Pastor Kerry.
Oh, okay.
And we had a very, very nice, very nice person just speaking to me from the school right to the place you give me a ride. And every time I know a lady's voice. She still has that nice, pleasant, warm voice.
Thank you. Thank you, caller.
Okay.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Lotus, before we move on, would you like to comment on the caller earlier that not allowing his daughter to bring her significant other to sleep in the house and to go in the room, this
back
sort
in
of
the
thing?
day, Andre, that was a big thing. But I think, again, times have changed. And as you know, things are evolving. Some parents, again, I said earlier when we started that they are parents with their adult children and the mutual benefit is there, and so boundaries are set, and in some situations you can't tell your child not to bring their significant other in the house based on what you'll have
not in the house,
right?
in the room.
In the room too, Andre.
Especially if I am there, say for example, I'm there watching my TV, they're watching my YouTube, and partner just passing in front of me. Excuse me.
Well,
Excuse me.
I think it depends.
And heading into my daughter's room.
It depends. It depends on what boundaries are set and how your house is run. Your household is run.
Maybe I'm saying, Lotus, that could be part of the problem today. That could be part of the problem.
Well,
because back in the day, parents don't put up with stuff like that.
The thing about it is that the last caller said that sometimes you do everything for a child or children and they still have their own mentality. But I don't believe that 100%. I believe, yes, they have their personality and their own mindset. However, if you set certain boundaries from early,
exactly,
people adjust. It's the same thing as finding a job. None of us walk into a job and behave like a crazy person, unless we have been diagnosed with some kind of mental disorder. And I don't want to offend anybody. I'm just saying the thing is, I think boundaries have to be set, and in setting the boundaries is how we raise the kids. I think some of us do not we think we're doing the right thing because here we're talking about comfort and discomfort. We think we're doing the right thing. If my children call me for a ride, sometimes I'm thinking to myself, well, I should probably pick them up but if there's access to a bus, why should I go and pick you up?
Yes.
Now, some of them, again, they have been born with a car, they have the ride, they don't want to. But if you set a boundary and say, don't call me unless you're somewhere lost in the woods that you can't get you know what I'm saying? It will teach them now to adjust and to plan their lives in such a way that they can find their own way.
I like what you said there, the boundaries, that is so important. And the right thing. I remember Hassani was here a few years ago. He came here with his significant other, and he said that he was invited to some beach party down in Labrie, right? So when I left work, I was tired, of course. I left work in the morning, as at HTS. Dad, can I get a ride down? I'll get a ride back from my friend. He's going to give us a ride. I said, okay, no problem. So, despite the fact I'm feeling tired, picked him up, at the hotel, head straight down to Labrie. I say, okay, I'll see you later. Let me know if you get home safely, that kind of thing, right? So I'm home and I say, boy, time now for me to take a little nap. That's maybe about 3 hours after. I get a phone call. My son telling me the ride he was supposed to get, the guy didn't show up. No, sorry. The guy said he's already full. There are too many people there. So there's no transport at that time there, right? It was a holiday weekend and so on. I went right back down.
Well, yeah, because
back down.
And the thing about it is that it's not something he always does.
And
there are
exactly.
situations.
And guess what? I was giving that story to some people. They said, "Boy, you must be mad because I made finding his way back home."
That's what I'm telling you. When our parents when we used to go places, right, Andre? A lot of us didn't know how we used to come back. Because now our children have access to our vehicles, or they have access to a ride. But before, our parents had no vehicles. Our parents didn't have a ride. Our parents, and we used to go far. I remember sometimes we go to a party or we go somewhere to a beach party. None of us know how we're getting back. We hike rides. Now, I'm not saying that they have to do the same thing, but I think these things taught us how to be resilient. It taught us how to come up with ideas. Andre, you have to come up with an idea. You cannot call your mother or your father for everything.
Yeah, I agree.
You cannot.
I agree.
And so that's what happens in our households when we leave them in the house. We have them living there, and we still want to treat them as if they're 6 and 7.
But I think one of the most important points you've mentioned there, Lotus, so far is this thing about setting those boundaries.
Yes, Andre.
Okay, I think that's super, super important. Too many parents allow their children too much freedom and too much latitude and so on. And as you said, they don't want to offend them and make them feel bad. Listen, my first daughter, I love my children, okay?
Yes.
I'll die for them, all right? I'm serious about that. So one time I remember she was coming to St. Lucia. She had a significant other. I knew the young man, all right? And she said to me, Daddy, can I come and stay by you with my boyfriend? I said, no. Yeah, I said, no.
Yeah.
I cannot allow that. They said, maybe it's your husband. It's a different thing. But not your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Now, I know she was not pleased about it, but I think I did the right thing.
I think there's a certain, I honestly, I agree with you, Andre, because the same thing, to me, when I left my mother's house, there's certain things I would not do. I would not go to my mother's house with my boyfriend, and I'm in the room, and sometimes it's a little strange,
especially for the females to do it. To be honest with you, maybe the
fathers, that right happened to you all. You all are the ones doing certain things sometimes. The transition to adulthood is stressful, and some parents, but it's normal. Parents have to understand that it's normal. The same way we are adults, we have to believe that what we've instilled in our kids, they will use it to become adults themselves, and they will have the strength to do things for themselves. Like you said, there are young adults who work so hard to get their independence, have their independence, so that they could understand out there things are not free, it's not easy, it's not cheap, and it doesn't matter even if you're a rich kid, things are not free and easy when you're out there, because you will leave your mother's house, you will go to an interview or to find a job, or you will go to mingle with people. You have to know how to defend yourself. And sometimes when we keep our kids in the dark, or we don't want them to do anything for themselves, they don't know how to. They are very socially awkward. That's the word we use. They're very socially awkward. They don't know how to use a bank card. They don't know how to open a bank account. Do you know how many young adults that live at their parents' house and they don't have a bank account? Or they get a card and they don't know how to use the card? With all the social media and everything that's happening, they don't know anything about investments. They don't know, because why? We shelter them and we give them everything. So we buy the groceries, we buy their clothes, we order for them online, we do so many things that they cannot do anything for themselves. We have to let them. I remember one time my son was at school, internationally, and he called me and he said, he's not sure what happened. He paid his school fees, but he's not sure. I tell him, well, that have nothing to do with me.
I don't get it.
I sent the money for him to pay the school fees.
Okay.
And for some reason, I don't know what happened.
He lost it or something?
He said, something happened, whatever happened. It was not my business. I said, it's not my business. You may have to look for a job, sweep the school, do something to pay to do what you have to do. I am not going to send a second set. And he, for some reason, he found it. He found it. He did what he had to do. But if I had sent the money for him right away and allow him to just, relax, then he would not have an opportunity to be responsible enough.
Let me just put a little caveat there. However, if he told you that he was robbed.
Well, if he was robbed, that's a different thing.
Okay.
But he was not robbed, Andrew. Meanwhile, sometimes he would forfeit cooking to order Uber Eats. So as far as I'm concerned, if these are the things, and you have to give them messages when you set those boundaries so that they can now fend for themselves. And of course, it breaks our hearts sometimes as parents to not give them the things, right?
Tough love.
Yes, tough love. It makes us feel, bad, but guess what? We have to. Parents must not fear sending their kids out into the world, Andre. And so the boundaries we spoke about, you have to set boundaries. And so we talk about our kids being too comfortable when real change, what real change looks like is that you need to tell them they need to get up at a certain time, go and find a job. Don't sit all day and play video games. There are young men that are at their parents' house playing video games from 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the night.
Yeah.
And parents come and then you're upset. And some parents are so fearful of their children, they cannot even say anything, Andre.
And Lotus, that same attitude, right? Some of these young men have. You see them now, they get into their adult life, into their 30s and 40s. You got to remember
that's the thing.
In front of a TV. And they become a burden, not just to the society, but to their wife.
To their wife, yes, Andre. Bingo, Andre, bingo. And it starts from the house. Their parents, they're 19, 20, 25. I'm not saying you cannot play your video games. When you come from work, you can play your video games. When you pay the electricity bill, you can play your video games. But some of us let them play. And they play and they play. And we don't say, get up and go and look for a job. We don't say, let me see you have sent out 3 or 4 applications. Some of our adult children rely on us to open up their lives for them. So after we have to think of our lives, we have to think of their lives in a sense.
And here's a scary part now, Lotus. You now as the parent, you know that your child is not self-sufficient, right? You know you're afraid to even die.
But of course,
you don't want to live because you say, if I leave here, what's going to happen?
And I think as parents, that's what we should be aspiring to, is to raise our kids in a way that when we're not there, they're not dying. I do not want to die.
And you're not worried.
Yes, I do not want to die and my kids cry so much. There's something in the Bible or in the church that they say, do not weep like those that don't have no hope.
Yes.
So you die and your children are devastated. And they're not devastated because of your death, in terms of you dying or anything to do with your memory. They're devastated because they don't know what they are going to do. I think that's not the objective that a lot of us as parents want. We want our children that if we have departed this earth, that they are able to move on comfortably, that they're able to say, you know what, my mother taught me to wash, my mother taught me to find a job, my mother taught me to, do some farming, my mother taught me to do this and that. Or it doesn't even have to be your mother. It's because of probably what you saw your mother did, or your mother set the boundaries that you're able to now, chart your own course. Do your own thing for yourself, and they're not going to die because Andre, everything we do, there's some fear. I mean, when I left my mother's house, I was fearful as to what would happen. Yes, I had a boyfriend when I left. I wanted to go and be with my boyfriend, but guess what? I had to go through the hardships of having a boyfriend, caring for the place, trying to do and that inadvertently helped me to become more independent.
Now, in my case, right, I always found my grandmother to be a very, very, very smart lady. Extremely smart, okay? And I used to always say to her, but Mama, how did you know this? How did you know that? Because I couldn't fathom how she would sort of be predicting things and saying what's going to happen, even when it's going to happen. She was very, very, very smart, right? And when she died, that was my fear. My fear was, can I be as smart as her? Can I avoid those kinds of bad decisions? Because when she was alive, maybe I'd go to her and say to her, what do you think about so-and-so, so-and-so? And she'd give me some good advice.
That's right.
And I said to myself, I wonder, boy, if she's not there, would I be able to make those wise decisions? That was my greatest fear.
But you also have to allow yourself to make mistakes, Andre. We have to make mistakes.
Well,
it's just inevitable.
That's true, but sometimes, if you can avoid
if you can avoid it, you avoid it. But it's inevitable, You
have a call.
Yes. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Unrestricted.
Good morning, Lotus.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
So, I'm good. Yourself?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for calling.
Thank you for accepting my call.
You're welcome.
I want to totally agree with both of you in terms of our role as parents is to prepare our children for the world that is to come, for the responsibilities. I always tell my children, my children are 19 and 17, and I tell them, I will not be here forever. My role is to prepare you for when I'm not here, so that you can live your life and have the things you want. So you have to learn how to work. You have to learn how to do your laundry. I don't do laundry for them. My son started doing his laundry maybe 6 years ago. I coached him. You teach them small things at a time so that they can put it all together and have the ability to do it for themselves. But I also know people. I know somebody who's married, has children. Her mother does her laundry. Like what is that? Like, you have children and somebody else does your laundry? Come on now. So when that person is gone, what then?
Yes.
Your children will do the laundry for you? The children that you didn't teach to do laundry?
That's right.
So, our role as parents, as adults, you don't even have to be a parent. As an adult is to show children give them the mechanisms to cope with life. Not only like the financial aspect, the emotional aspect, and the independence. Like, you need to be independent because you will not always have somebody to do things for you.
Yeah.
And one day somebody will need you to do something for them.
That's right.
If you can't do anything for yourself, why do I need you?
Yeah.
Like, you're a burden.
Yeah.
So good topic.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right then. Have a good day.
You too.
So long.
Yes, Andre. And the guilt that some of us feel as parents, I think that is what we have to work on as well, because a lot of us as parents, we feel very guilty even to tell the child, no. We don't want to say no to our children. We don't want to say get up and go or move or do what you have to do. We want to continue to make them feel comfortable, but they're not making you feel comfortable. Our children do not care about our comfort.
That's true.
They come in, they eat, they sleep, you know what I'm saying? You know how Andrew, sometimes as an adult you're so considerate, right? You'll go to somebody's house, you'll be considerate, enter, put the mat. Our children have no consideration, a lot of them, they come in and they just live their life.
You have a call?
They live their life. Vai.
This is Unrestricted with Lotus.
Good morning. Welcome to Unrestricted.
Lotus, bonjour, Adri, bonjour, Septicia, bonjour.
Morning.
Good morning to all. Very important subject, and it's so touching. Some of us so guilty we don't even want to call.
Well, it's a hard. I can tell you, it's a hard. Yeah, it's a hard
you're both
subject.
Talking about. But let me add my 2 cents, if you allow me to, please.
Yes, of course.
Lotus and Andrew, listen, and the listening public. We see the signs of things to come, but yet these children didn't wake up one day and it just happened. Remember, these children are our children. They're raised from our homes, most of them, if it's not all of them. We actually seen signs, then we could actually try and bend the tree or straighten up the tree before it get crooked. But guess what? You know what? The things we couldn't get away from our parents was growing up. Right now, our children getting away with it from our grandparents. What I see in most times that it never happened home, but I know for sure my neighbors told me even at his home, this children used to do it, and they're more grown, where he has something in the fridge and they would use it. They would not replace it. They have water. They will use the water. They'll put the empty container back. I know as I'm saying this, a lot of people will be shaking their heads. It's a fact. It's a fact. But there's a lot of things I did not much I had to tell my children for them to know I don't accept it. Now, what I hear in our neighbors, your neighbors, my neighbors, our neighbors saying to their own children, the negatives, the cursing and everything, So you get these things all the time. They insult the children, they tell the children so many different things, and yet still, when it's talking to their children so loud, they're talking to the children so loud, even the neighbors would hear the effing and all these things they're telling the children. Now, what I see happening a lot in St. Lucia, a lot of young boys that are raised from their parents' home, their parents have their homes already, not renting. As soon as they get out of school, they get a JOB, which is a just over broke. I call it a JOB, just over broke. because it's not a career. So what they do, they get a job and they go and work. The first thing they could do is to put monies on the side to buy a vehicle. Okay? Because, and then the mother, the parents have bills, they don't pay, they don't help, and this is not nice. Okay? At the end of it, you have a roof over your head. So at least you could take care of one of the bills. So if your mom go and pay a bill and say, but mommy, you paid the bills already? It's like, but son, I went and paid the bills and then I get no bill. There's no bill twice, 3 times. It's because he's the one, paying the bills, even without she knows. But that's not happening to them. Once they have a roof over their head, they just want to be a swag. They want to show off. They just want to go and buy a vehicle and just be out there.
Anthony, sorry, you remember last week, you and I were out heading down south, going to a session, and we were having that discussion without even knowing you're going to be talking about that. And Anthony, remember what I was saying? That some children who are in a position, right, to assist their parents should.
Yes.
They should.
You're right. And you said that the parent in particular should not ask. If you see that they need help, just follow. You just
and you're in a position to do something. But some of them, they see they can't help, and they don't do anything. And because they figure you're not asking, you're not begging.
That last point there, Andre. That's Anthony. That's that last point where sometimes children believe because you have had all the time, or you have been doing it all the time.
And you're not crying.
You're not crying. You're not there's no reason to help. But helping is not a matter of just helping. It's a matter of taking responsibility.
Lotus, you're right. And again, let me add this. I've told Andre that on many occasions. I don't ask, but that doesn't mean because I don't ask. You could volunteer, because at the end of the day, as Andre said, and we know that too, because we're not in the way of asking. We don't want to be the tail. We want to be the head, always to try to stand up for ourselves.
Right.
But again, you could just bless and say, listen, just a surprise. For instance, Asani would just come and just look yesterday. For instance, you see that? And he knows what you love. Especially apart from the ice cream, which he did.
He forgot that one.
I think as about the ice cream, I said, don't worry, the ice cream is like a new year. You have to start healthy, so he was just joking around with it. You see how good, and that could squeeze how much muscles in your face and make you feel good. It's because you would say in your son, you're well pleased. I can say the same thing. In my son, I'm well pleased. Because at the end of the day, they don't look for problems out there. And that is one thing. Let me on a finishing note. Listen, Lotus, Andre, and the listening public, we must understand, we have children. If he's a lady, she become a woman, then the most thing, she might just bring a baby or get pregnant. This is the way of life. But the boys, when they grow up to be men, remember, they have criminal activities out there. They could be criminals. We never thought of that. They could be criminals, So when you see Asani, my son, DJ Mikey, and AJ, and myself, so when you see they're doing good things, we must feel, listen, sometimes proud and elite is not a word I should use. I can't even get the word. I feel so good about my children. It's because they don't bring problems on your table. Because I remember that story about Marvin Gaye. The father had to take his own son's life because of the humility, that is grace and embarrassment. So we have to feel real good and give ourselves a pat on our back. You understand? And feel good about it, our children doing good out there. So anyhow we could support them. But Lotus, as you said, teach them to take on the world early. And put it to them. When I was 12, when I was 15, when I was 16, it's true that I was in the right age to do it. I had my home already. I left my mother's home. I went to work. You get me? So at least they get it from early stage. People, we know what's going on. We have to speak out as much as we love our children, but tough love would work it out.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Yes, Lotus, we have to wrap up, unfortunately. I think we just only scratched the surface of that program.
I will just end by saying that a few of the things, Andre, you said that we should do. You should change your view, identify and guard your emotional buttons as a parent, know what pushes your buttons, make sure it's not emotional when you are telling your children certain things, so you do it with love to guide them out. Make your boundaries clear. Right?
That's
an adult child may decide doesn't like the contract and will decide to live elsewhere. Make your boundaries clear. If they don't want to take it, then they can move. You understand? Don't bend. And shut down the parent ATM, because a lot of us have an ATM exposed to our children, and they think that it's available to them until they die.
Yes.
They don't think that they should be, spending their own money. And they love spending our money, Andre. They spend our money very nicely and very easily and very loosely. And when it's their money, that's when they begin. You watch them very, very, very carefully. Some of them begin to say, oh, no, I'm not paying for that. But if it was their mother's money, they would pay for it.
Sure thing.
So we have to shut down the parent ATM, and we have to communicate with our kids with love and respect. But I think unless we're able to lead them out gently, they will not become independent, strong, vibrant young men and women like we are. Because we are. They have an example most times.
And I guess, there's no one way, one solution, one way, one thing to say that's how you have to do it. That's a very complicated thing, raising children.
It's a myriad of things, but Andre, what is constant is for us to set boundaries. That's constant. That's something we have to do, and it may be hard. Because I know some of us cry and we hurt and we sad to see our children walk in and we have a car. They won't die. They will not die. Sometimes they do make you feel like they will die, but they will not die. So.
Okay, Lotus.
At some other time we will continue in another vein, but yes. I think, Thank you so much.
And thank you, Lotus, as always, for your service. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right. Great topic today. Let's hope that next week's going to be even better.
Yes.
Alrighty. Okay, folks, so this has been Unrestricted with Lotus. You can watch Lotus every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on REV-UP St. Lucia 95.9 FM. Watch us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and also live on X. So thank you very much for listening, and thanks for viewing. Now stand by for Hard Drive. That's coming up next. Or those of you on Facebook, etc., we'll just take a little break from you and come back for Hard Drive. All right? So please stand by.